So, good morning, Dr. Biranchi. Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, Dr.
Yes,
Chetan,
you are quite audible, sir.
Dr. Neeraj, Dr.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Good morning. Very
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
So I once again sent the background to everybody.
After my inaugural address, I would like to take your kind permission to leave because
Yes, sir.
I have
Yes,
another
no
engagement.
problem, sir.
Yes. Is that possible?
Yes, sir. Why not, sir? It's definitely possible.
Okay, thank you.
So, Neeraj, Professor Yukti can just check your email IDs. I have sent just now the background once again.
Okay. Let me see.
Professor, I've tried placing and it was so contrasting that I was barely visible. So that's why I've just came up with this one. So
No problem. If it is not lucrative, now you can.
I try again.
The thing is that 21st March, the dates are not visible.
How to do that? Any idea? Can we zoom?
You have to crop something of some option is there. Acha, fit to window. That fit to window option.
Director sir, with your kind permission, can we start?
Yeah, please yes, proceed.
Thank you so much. A very good morning to all. On the behalf of MDIM family, I, Dr. Yukti Sharma, Assistant Professor Marketing at MDIM, extend warm greetings to our Honorable Director Sir, Professor Dr. Atmanand, and all the dignitaries on the panel. Professor Niharika Vora, our chief guest, Professor Sanjeev Mittal, our keynote speaker, track chairs, paper presenters, faculty, non-faculty colleagues, and endeared students. It is indeed a great pleasure to wish you all a convivial welcome to the inaugural ceremony of International Conference on Changing Business Paradigm, ICCBP 2021. ICCBP 2021 has truly become an international conference with participation from countries across the globe. With an objective to provide a forum to academicians, practitioners, researchers to deliberate upon relevant theories, concepts, and models emerging in management domain, ICCBP 2021 revolves around broader theme of contemporary issues and challenges in business management. In addition to this broader theme, ICCBP 2021 endeavors to draw the attention of practitioners and scholarly community towards the practical challenges encountered and innovative solutions adopted during COVID-19 pandemic. We are grateful to all the participants for an overwhelming response to ICCBP 2021, as we have received about 180 abstract submissions across 7 tracks of marketing, finance, OB and HR, operation and SCM, IT, business strategy and entrepreneurship, case studies. However, bearing in mind the high quality standards, the paper selection process has been very competitive, and we could only accept and accommodate 73 submissions for the final presentation. We extend heartiest congratulations to all the presenters. Now, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Biranchi Narayan Swar, Conference Chair and Dean, Continuing Education, Professor Marketing, to formally introduce our Honorable Director, Sir, Professor Director Atmanand. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yukti, for your nice introduction. On the behalf of MDIM family, I welcome all the participants to this particular international conference, that is ICCBP 2021. Esteemed Chief Guest, Dr. Niharika Vora, Vice Chancellor, Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University, New Delhi. Keynote Speaker, Professor Dr. Sanjeev Mittal, Vice Chancellor, Sambalpur University. Honorable Director, Professor Dr. Atmanand, MDI Murshidabad. Faculty and staff members at MDI Murshidabad. Delegates, practitioners, research scholars, and participants across the globe. Last but not the least, my beloved students at MDI Murshidabad. It is indeed a great pleasure on the part of MDI Murshidabad to welcome all the participants, delegates, practitioners, speakers, chairpersons, and all the faculty members across the globe to this common platform known as ICCBP 2021. At the outset, I'm honored and privileged to introduce our Honorable Director, Professor Dr. Atmanand, to this august body. As you all aware, Professor Dr. Atmanand is a renowned economist, administrator, and academician, currently working as Director of MDI Murshidabad and Director Additional Charge of MBI Gurgaon. He was also the Independent Director of Central Bank of India, Steel Authority India Limited, and PTC India Limited. Dr. Atmanand's experience in teaching, research, and consultancy is of more than 34 years. He is one of the longest serving deans of India. He has undertaken many initiatives like the launch of MDI School of Energy Management, Journal of IMT Ghaziabad, and established MDI Murshidabad, to name a few. He has contributed to various national responsibilities as member of State Finance Commission, Government of Bihar, Planning Commission, Government of India, and as member of the Ad hoc Task Force, Cabinet Secretariat, Government of India, member of Review Committee, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, member of Advisory Committee, Ministry of Power, Government of India. Dr. Atmanand has authored 16 books and published more than 100 research papers in referred national and international journals. He has undertaken several consulting assignments in the area of energy, insurance, infrastructure projects, social development, and leadership, etc. He specializes in public enterprise management, management of energy and environment, power, oil and gas, steel, financing infrastructure projects, project finance, economic and business environment, policy management. His contribution of many years has been recognized in the form of awards like Rashtriya Gaurav Award for his excellence and contribution in the nation building, Indian Achievers Award for Corporate Leadership in 2010, Economic Development Award for Excellence in Higher Education in 2011, Exemplary Global Leadership Award 2010, and appreciation letters from various departments like the Ministry of Power, Government of India, and SAIL. Professor Dr. Atmanand's vision statement is to have people around him who are thinkers and doers in one person. He spreads the policy of connect, nurture, and grow. In short, we call it as CNG. So with this small introduction about our director, sir, now I welcome Director MDI Murshidabad, Professor Dr. Atmanand, for his inaugural speech. Over to Director, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Vijanchiswar. Good morning to all of you. Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Dr. Niharika Vora, Vice Chancellor, Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University, New Delhi. Esteemed keynote speakers, Professor Sanjeev Mittal, Vice Chancellor, Sambalpur University. Professors and researchers from across the world, colleagues from the industry and academia, and my dear students, MDIM is overwhelmed by your presence and looks forward to a long-term relation. The online international conference on changing business paradigm, ICCBP 2021, intends to assemble leading researchers, academic scientists, and practitioners from around the world to exchange and share their experiences and research results, to appreciate research talents, and for motivating research spirit among the students, research scholars, and academicians. With a very relevant theme of contemporary issues and challenges in business management post-COVID-19, ICCBP aims at capturing role of innovations in management practices. It seeks to deliberate upon the emerging theories, concepts, and models in general, practical challenges encountered, and solutions adopted, in particular in the field of innovations in management practices. This event endeavors to create forum for academicians, researchers, practicing managers, and students to share their ideas and research findings and address contemporary issues and challenges in business and industry. Let me introduce you to MDIM. In a short span of time since its inception in 2014, MDIM has established itself as a key member of MDI society by achieving excellence in various spheres. MDIM would seek to align local aspirations with available state-of-the-art facilities. The state-of-the-art facilities cannot sustain the institution unless it is backed by cutting-edge technology and subjects. We have Bloomberg Finance Lab, courses like artificial intelligence and machine learning, HR analytics, digital marketing, rural marketing, entrepreneurship to provide edge over others. We were awarded a double star at national level and a triple star at state level by CRISIL in the year 2020. MDI Murshidabad has been felicitated with prestigious Business World Top Education Brands Award 2020 in the category of Excellence and Innovation in Management. This also marked the entry of MDI Murshidabad into the elite club of Business World Top Education Brands. NHRDN ranked MDIM as #1 in the category of Emerging Business Schools in India in the year 2019. We also became a member of the prestigious Association of Management Development Institutions in South Asia, MDISA, starting April 2019. To mitigate the challenge of new normal, we have taken various initiatives at MDIM. Online certificate courses were launched, webinar talk series initiated, online workshops, online corporate talks, online international conferences, etc. are few to be mentioned. MDIM strives to make change masters and thought leaders. MDIM with this goal offers global opportunities for our students through multicultural learning environment. In this pursuit, we have recently signed Memoranda of Understanding MOU with Eclair School of Business France and Hybria Institute of Business and Technology France. Further, we have also partnered with SOAS University of London, the United Kingdom, to offer our students a global learning environment through online international certificate programs. The partnerships aim to foster development in the areas of teaching, research, training, consulting, as well as international reputation of all the involved institutions through exchange of postgraduate students, faculty members, and academic information and materials. The MOUs will also serve to promote the organization of joint corporate training programs, joint research programs, joint conferences, study tours, and other academic activities. MDIM's vision is to be an internationally excellent business school known for our academic ambition and influence in building a responsible future for both business and society globally. We are highly focused to create an ethical and knowledge-centric culture that values outstanding academic excellence, training, research, and consultancy. MDIM is on the path of becoming smart by setting goals which are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And all this because of the faith shown by you all. Spread over the 3 days of 19th till 21st March 2021, the conference will bring together academicians and corporate practitioners from various parts of India, as well as a number of other countries across the globe. 7 keynote speeches will be delivered by well-known academicians on various relevant topics of changing business paradigm. I appreciate the hard work made by the conference chairs, Dr. Viranchi Narayan Sir, Dr. Neeraj Singhal, co-chair, Dr. Chetan GK, and Dr. Niharika Gan, and convener Dr. Yukti Sharma for making this conference happen. I also appreciate all my faculty and administrative staff for the continuous support in designing such events successfully and regularly. We at MDIM follow the policy of Connect, Nurture, and Grow, CNG. My sincere thanks once again to all of you who have graced this august occasion with their presence. The key to success is to focus on goals and not on obstacles. Best of luck to all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for gracing the inaugural ceremony with your kind words and immense blessing. It's indeed the motto, focus on the goals, not on the obstacles. Thank you for being instrumental in making this conference a reality during these unprecedented times through your stewardship, vision, commitment, guidance, and relentless support. We are really grateful to you, Professor. So now I would like to invite Dr. Niharika Gan, Conference Co-Chair and Chairperson, Continuing Education, in-house off-campus MDPs and Consulting, and Assistant Professor, HRM, to formally introduce our Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Dr. Niharika Vora, and give a brief introduction to the ICCBP. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks, Professor Yukti. Uh, so, Professor Niharika Vora, she's supposed to join at sharp at 9:50 because of her daily schedule. She got delayed by 10 minutes. Uh, However, I would like to introduce her briefly. Uh, so it's a great honor to me to introduce and welcome our chief guest, Professor Niharika Vora, for this auspicious occasion. She merely requires introduction, though. Uh, so she is currently working as a vice chancellor for Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University. She holds PhD degree from University of Manitoba. She has served for 21 years in IIM Ahmedabad as a professor in organizational behavior area. She is well known in the field of education and corporate world as a behavioral scientist, accomplished instructor, PhD mentor, trainer, and a coach. To name a few that adds feather to her crown, she won Best Instructor Award several times in IIM Ahmedabad, published uh, 70 peer-reviewed research papers in top national and international journals, authored 3 books, guided 12 PhD students, developed teaching materials which are followed in many overseas universities, and trained corporate executives as well as members from faculty fraternity as a coach. Moreover, she is profoundly loved and respected as an instructor, mentor, coach by PGP students, FPM students, and corporate executives, and other faculty members also. She has been an academic advisor in 5 national level educational institutions. She has an extensive experience as an independent director. So I welcome you, madam, to address this August gathering on the topic changing business paradigm. Welcome you, madam.
Namaste to all of you. Thank you so much, Dr. Niharika Gan, for introducing me. I think you have overstated what I've done. I'm just a very, very plain academic who has been doing my work across so many years. I would like to today, so thank you all the distinguished guests of the conference and the various attendees of the conference. I think it takes a lot of effort to put together an international conference of this kind of standing. So I'm sure the team has done a great amount of work. I would be very happy, I'm very happy today to share some of my thoughts about, what has happened, what the pandemic has done, and therefore what the paradigm changes are. I will do a share screen if that's okay to to talk. Oh, can you please enable my share screen so that I can share my screen?
Abhiru, can you do this favor?
Okay, so we're just waiting. No problem. So somebody from the team, once you have the share screen on, I will put it up. Yes, now I can. Thank you. Okay. So I think what I want to talk about is not what everybody has been talking about of business paradigms and all of that, but let me just say, take a macro view of all of this, because in a way I am the opening speaker, and therefore I would like to just share some more macro thoughts on this entire experience that we've all had at this point of time, and see what we can take from it. So we don't need to explain what it is. It's been likened to a war. It has been seen as a culmination of what was coming. There has been amazing creativity shown by businesses in trying to advertise and still get people to come to their restaurants. So there's been a lot of creativity in terms also to show how they are responsible, and yet there is business to look at it. So it's a wide canvas. I don't want to say more about it rather than this. What it has meant for all of us is really the question that might be interesting for us to look at it. If you look at it, the pandemic has definitely shown something that we all always know, that we are human, as the human race, we have infinite capability to survive, right? So we are designed to survive. It doesn't matter what we have been put through, we have survived. So I think in one way, what it has again researched, so there is this whole belief that has been strengthened, that will survive no matter what. The second is, irrespective of all the stories that we might have heard which are not so positive, there is a resurgence of the belief in goodness of humans. People have gone out of their way to help. People have extended themselves to be useful. People have worked hard to make sure that the other could be comfortable. Organizations have been extremely good to their employees by and large, while there are obviously negative stories, and negative has a power of has greater power over us because it helps us to survive. So those are talked about more. But if you just looked around you on a day-to-day basis, there is infinite goodness of humans that has been demonstrated. Maybe something that one had forgotten and not seen because life was too comfortable. I think there is a resurgence in the power of collaborations. In less than 12 to 16 months, 12 months rather, there is a third stage vaccine that is available. It is being distributed all across, and no matter which company makes it and who does it, the reality is that this could not have been done unless we had scientists across the world had collaborated. There was research happening across the world which was being shared, which has helped people, which has really come to the rescue of people in less than 18 months. It may be a third stage vaccine, it may not be a perfect vaccine, but the fact is there is what it has shown us is that collaboration helps. I think in the way technology was coming into our lives, there were a lot of people who had started to believe, including organizations, that once we have technology, we don't need relationships. We don't need relationships with the environment. We don't need relationships with others. We don't need relationships with the partner company, and so on and so forth. But I think what the pandemic has shown us is, at the end of the day, it is relationships that matter. Whether it is family, whether it is friends, whether it is a person who you could call on the phone, relationships matter. Organizations that have had better embedded networks, which have better relationships, have survived a lot more. there is some research on that. I think what it has also told us is there is no such thing as impossibility. Most of, at a very pedantic level, most of us possibly thought that it was impossible for me to eat in every day. It is impossible for me to do this and that and so on and so forth. We have realized that we could do all of this. At a much more macro level, we have possibly felt that it would be, the organizations possibly felt that, it would be impossible for us to survive if this did not happen, but they have survived even with that. I think what it has, again, the belief that has become more stronger in us is that it is not the smartest who survive. It is the agile and resilient who survive. So those who have been agile, those organizations that have been resilient, those organizations that have been able to change overnight are the ones that have survived. And I think the whole idea of the importance of agility and resilience at all levels is now in the forefront. So as much as it might be important for you to be smart and intelligent, as much of you it must be important for you to be the best and the brightest. I think the definitions of the best and the brightest, the smart and intelligence, are changing, and I think it has shown us again and again that that's what it is. And I think the last point I want to make is that we were able to make decisions about closing. I was at IIM Ahmedabad when this whole thing started. We were trying to make a decision of whether to have an in-person convocation or not. Should we send away the students? I think what really helped us make decisions were reading the history of the Spanish flu, looking at what the epidemiologists had to say, looking at the data that was coming, for us to say, well, doesn't matter what happens. This is here to stay. This is not something that's going to go away. We will add to the problem if we did not have this. So what I'm saying is that, again, I think the pre-pandemic world only possibly valued IT and economics. And what I'm saying is that with the pandemic has again brought to light that all disciplines have importance, even if they are small disciplines, even if they are not the ones that generate money. I thank those people who had studied the Spanish flu, who had documented the Spanish flu, who have talked about the Spanish flu, so that as a whole humanity, we knew what this really would mean. Yeah. And again, and it wasn't in my consciousness, I didn't know this, but fortunately somebody knew it and somebody was able to bring it to us for us to be able to make decisions. So what I'm saying is, again, there were people who were trained in social work, who were able to quickly step up and actually start looking at the labor influx, outflux from the cities, and look at what needed to be done, which again was something that economists didn't think of, data scientists didn't think of, or computer science people couldn't think of. So again, what I'm trying to say is that it has, if at all we have learned something, we need to learn that all disciplines require brilliant people working on this, passionate people working on their discipline, because at the macro level, they're all necessary for us. So I'm just giving you examples. So as much as it has helped us, believe certain things, I think it has also revealed to us some things that were possibly getting hidden behind the haze of development, and we're becoming the superpower, and we can do anything, and so on and so forth. And I've put a box outside which says, maybe what it has revealed, and we would be stupid to forget it, is that we are interdependent with the environment. We cannot at any point of time say, I will develop despite the environment. I will build my business despite the environment. I will generate pollutants, and I will serve my process by simply cleaning up the pollutants. I think we have to recognize that it is the environment. We are interdependent. We are not one part of the system. We're not above or better or outside of the universe, right? So we're part of the universe. I think what it has revealed to us again are we don't think, there is very little system thinking. Yeah. I am not trying to criticize, please don't take this as a criticism, but just as a, again, as an academic, as somebody who looks at it, there are so many times in the last 1.5 years that we have seen that because of lack of system thinking, we have added to our problems. And one good example was the suddenness of the lockdown. Right. I think the lockdown was a very important and a very, very required and necessary step for the country. And yet, the suddenness possibly led to a lot of the problems that that people faced, because we didn't think of it systemically. We didn't think it wouldn't have mattered if it was 4 days later or if it was a week later, but it was very important that it was done with systems thinking, and that is one example of it. I think while it is well and good for organizations and production houses to have supply chains that are global, right, which means I can source materials from different parts of the world to create a one piece of material, which gives me huge competitive advantage. But what I think the pandemic has shown us is that there are cracks and fault lines of the global supply chain. So while it might be okay for a Levi's jeans to possibly produce Levi a pair of jeans by sourcing from 18 countries, maybe there are certain aspects of our production which cannot be done through this kind of a global supply chain. Maybe it is time for us to think about it in that context. So again, what this pandemic has revealed to us is that while these look very good on paper and they do give us returns, but maybe there is something that we need to also think differently about this. What it has revealed is that there are huge divides in social context, right? The educators of our times very quickly, smartly responded by moving all their classes online. But to date, I don't think we have ever wondered about the homes where there is possibly one feature phone that's available, and there are 3 kids that need to to study, and that phone belongs to the person who earns the livelihood, and that person has to take the phone with them, because if they don't, there is a problem. And we have celebrated, we have talked so much about how it was possible, but I think we've completely also been silent about the social context that it has meant. So which relates me to the next point that I'm making, that how blind the powerful are to those who are not at the table. While our table is formed of people who are powerful and who are articulate and who make the rules, we are not here to serve only ourselves at the table. There is a lot of other people who are not at the table who we are supposed to serve. And I think as the pandemic has just shown how blind we are, and if at the end of this pandemic we continue to keep the same kind of power mechanisms, I think it is something that we have to it's something that we'll have to worry about. The fifth thing that I want to talk about is that leadership matters. Yeah, I think it has definitely revealed to us that those countries, those districts, those states, those cities which had proactive leadership, which were looking at inclusive leadership, which had leadership which was concerned and proactive and inclusive, were the cities were the districts, were the cities, were the countries that have done well. So for many of us, we sometimes believe in a completely non-hierarchical structure where leadership is not required. I think what the pandemic has shown that leadership matters, no matter at what level we are looking at. So whether it is the organization, whether it's the department, whether it is, I think leadership matters. There could be no better field data for us to look at for this. The sixth thing that I want to talk is that at the, I think when things are going good, and when we think that we can plan everything to the T, I think we end up focusing a lot more sometimes on the long term. Yeah, we think that as long as my goal is defined, I'm good to go. But what I think the pandemic has shown us is that the ability to focus simultaneously on the immediate, medium, and the long term is crucial, and not one or the other. It's a difficult skill, but it's a very important skill, and those of who are able to do it do well. The last but one thing I want to say on this one is that at the end of the day, well-being matters more than anything else. Yeah, it doesn't matter how rich you were, it doesn't matter how poor you were, it doesn't matter whether you were able to move online your work completely or not. The fact is, it was the well-being of the people that really made it possible for them to work sitting wherever. It was the well-being of the people which really defined productivity. And I think there are very, 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 very few organizations that actually focus on well-being. There's a lot of people who focus on problems, and a lot of organizations that focus on what to do when a problem arises. But maybe we need to, what it has revealed to us is it's important to talk about well-being. And I think at a global level, it has definitely been revealed to us that the greater the inequality of power distribution, the greater are going to be some of our troubles. So the fact that information from Wuhan was not given to the world soon enough was because of the country to which Wuhan belonged and the power that country had on certain world organizations, which decided some of what unfolded in this. Again, I'm not making a political statement. All I'm saying is the more equal the power distribution is going to be, especially at the top, the more it is possibly going to work with us. So that is what the pandemic has revealed to us. And so that brings me to my last slide. So what of the future? Because we're talking about this because we want to learn something from it. My first answer is we don't know. We just don't know what the future holds for us. Will there be a pandemic 100 years from now? Will there be a pandemic 50 years from now? We have no clue. Will we be better prepared? We don't know, right? I think we don't. And therefore, my next point is maybe it is best not to try to predict. It was very interesting. I don't know, some of you might have followed. There was an institute from Singapore which was doing epidemiological predictions, and they had predicted in April that by May 26th, India will be out of COVID. Yeah, and of course, May 26th went and came and went, and eventually they pulled down that website because in fact all the predictions they were making for any of the countries were simply not being, and these were the brightest of the data scientists who were working. Maybe it was a fruitless exercise at that point of time, and maybe that is what we continue to do. We keep trying to predict a future for which we have absolutely no information. So my thought today is that maybe we should spend less energy in trying to predict the future. We should spend more energy in trying to build sustainably and trying to build in a way that will actually help us just strengthen our ability to to take on whatever comes to us. That becomes more important. I think it is so important that today that we do not go back to the past and repeat the same mistake by saying, now that we have learned how to do work from home, for example, that is going to be the preferred way only. Yeah, I think the fact is that there are some people who have appreciated the work from home. There are some people who have done it out of complete, because that there was no other way out. There are some people who have done it and are now ready to move on. And there are some people who will never want to go back to going to office. There is enough and more diversity in our world. And if we are going to say that there is only one and only one way of operating, because now that we have seen that this is possible, then we are going back to repeating the same mistake that we did post pre-pandemic, when we said those people who spent 10 hours in front of the boss are much more productive than those people who spend 10 hours doing the work behind the scenes. And now if we want to go back to saying now only those people who work behind the scenes are better, we're again creating a similar singular narrative. So what I'm saying is, it is so important to improve our ability to value differences, equivocality, the fact that we can reach the same path through various ways. I think the future we cannot predict, but we definitely know that we need to recognize the power of that can't be seen and can't be heard. It can be philosophically in terms of this one tiny virus, which none of us could have seen. It has been magnified 1,000 times over for us to see that picture, but a naked eye cannot see it. And yet it has been able to impact so much of us. So that's the literal one I'm saying. Metaphorically, when we go about designing organizations, processes, people, so on and so forth, is it important for us to keep in mind that those that can't be seen and can't be heard can also make a difference. They also have a way of impacting. And I don't want to sound like I'm reading the Bhagavad Gita here, but I think it is so much more available, as we go in the future, as we go ahead with what is happening. I think this focus on process being more important than the outcome becomes very important. And so it doesn't matter what will come out, because that is really being controlled by so many other things that we don't have any control over. But the process is something that we can focus on. And there is nothing like the best process. There is the best at the time. The most appropriate at the time is what importance. And I think one of the important things that we have learned is, and it's a gift that humans have, is that we move on. We move on after we have a heartbreak, we move on after we lose our loved ones, we move on when we have losses, we move on after we've had a great success, but we move on. The fact is, humans have very short memory. It's a gift. And I think we will forget all of this after a while. So don't worry about saying, what all can I learn from this? I think much more important is the fact that we live and celebrate the present, rather than always worry about what is to be. And again, in a world in which success is only defined in one way, this is very difficult to do. And I think therefore one of the messages that I want to leave each one of us is that we need to realize that for everything we want to look at, whether it is success, whether it is structure, whether it is people, whether it is performance, there are multiple equally valid definitions. And I think if the pandemic will teach us to value the fact that there are multiple equally valid viewpoints of anything that we want to look at, we might have learned a lesson. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Niharika Vora, for joining us today and sharing your invaluable insight. I believe all of us are immensely benefited from your deliberation. In particular, your emphasis on the pivotal role of agility and resilience in survival sums up the solution to the dynamics brought by the pandemic in best possible manner. Now, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Birinchi Narayanswar to formally introduce our esteemed keynote speaker, Professor Sanjeev Mittal, Vice Chancellor, Sambalpur University.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Yukti, and thank Dr. Niharika Vora for her excellent deliberation for our ICCBP 2021. Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
It gives me immense pleasure to introduce the keynote speaker for our conference, that is ICCBP 2021, and welcome Dr. Sanjeev Mittal to this particular forum. So to introduce him, I will definitely tell that he has a huge experience in the field of teaching and administration for around 40 years to postgraduate students of business management. 16 years at Institute of Management Studies and Research, MD University Rohtak, and was heading Department of Management, MD University till 1996. Worked as Professor and Director, RD IAS Rohini from 1996 to 2002, New Delhi. Worked as Reader, University School of Management Studies, Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, Kashmiri Gate, Delhi, from 2002 to 2007. Was promoted as professor in July 2007 and took over as Dean of University School of Management Studies, Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University from 2014 to 2017. He was the coordinator, Entrepreneurship Development Cell of USMS, created with the assistance of AICT 2006 till the date of joining as a Vice Chancellor. Has contributed around 120 articles in journals of double gold medalist in the graduation and PG as well. Areas of interest are marketing and international business, export-import procedures and documentation. Conducted a lot of workshops on entrepreneurship development and business skills training and expert in these areas. Conduct MDPs on export-import procedures and documentation on need basis. Widely travel in various countries like US, Denmark, Norway, etc. Member of Board of Studies of number of universities. Got the Researchers Awards of the university for 2012, 13, 14 consecutively. Currently, he is the Vice Chancellor of Sambalpur University, Odisha. So with this brief introduction about Professor Dr. Mittal, I welcome him to this particular conference. And now I'm heading over the forum to Professor Dr. Sanjeev Mittal for his keynote address. Over to Mittal, sir.
Thank you very much. I am audible, sir? I'm audible?
Yeah,
Okay,
please go ahead.
So, friends, it is indeed a great pleasure for me to be invited over here on this international conference, and specifically to the director MDI, who basically insisted that I should be there as a keynote speaker. I am glad that because of his persistence, I'm in a position to basically make it today. You can imagine the post of Vice Chancellor is very vibrant, and there are a lot of responsibilities which are there on day-basis. But still, I never thought that I should ever say no to him. And this is one of major weaknesses that I am having. So at the outset, before I start, I am really thankful to all the delegates, all the professors of MDI, and all dignitaries which are present on this webinar for giving me this opportunity. And friends, the topic of the conference which you have kept is very, very live and is the need of the hour, because we are finding after these COVID and still few more extension of this COVID, we really need to understand what has been the changing business paradigm. Whatever I have stored it for all of you today is all based on my experience. So I will just share my screen, and from there, friends, we are going to proceed. I will also request that it should not be a one-way topic in terms that I am only speaking. Anywhere you have any questions, you always feel free. And that is how exactly we are going to proceed, friends. So is my screen visible, sir, to all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So from here, friends, I will take off my journey, and what I have stored for all of you is in terms of how the business has changed, friends, and what type of mindset needs to change, and how exactly we can proceed towards excellence. Because it is very important in every sphere of life, whatever we do, whether we do in business, whether we do in university or we do in an institution, we always and always target and aim towards what is called as excellence. I always find many people who always say to me, "Sir, I am in search of excellence." I firmly believe that I think your search for excellence should end. And now it is a time that we should believe and therefore start practicing what is called as excellence. So how exactly, what type of paradigm changes are required, how the mindsets had to be changed, friend, at the time when we are in a position to basically pull our business towards excellence. That is what I'm going to focus today, friends, right? So what I just want to say out over here in this particular slide is that the industrial age has changed to what is called as an information age. We don't have anything what is called as bureaucratic organization. From there, we really have to think in terms of a team organization. And in every organization, we need to have what are called as cross-functional teams. One man alone cannot do anything, friends. And for that particular reason, there is a need to go ahead with creating what are called as teams in the organization. Autocratic leadership do not have any space these days. We are moving towards what is called as servant leadership or called as shared leadership. Mindset has to change, friends. And we as leaders who are heading the institutions really have to believe in what is called as servant leadership. We are not bureaucrats, we are not autocrats, we basically are what we are talking in terms of समाज सेवक. और जब तक हम ये समाज सेवा नहीं करेंगे, I think we will not be in a position to basically take our organizations to greater height. Centralized control has to change to what is called as, you have to talk of autonomy, empowerment, you have to think in terms of talking about accountability. Now, you cannot shirk your accountability, friends. As Vice Chancellor, if anything goes wrong, I cannot put the blame on my, say, the juniors or the subordinates. I have to be accountable for everything. So for that particular reason, I think we have to think in terms of what is called as bottom-up approach as compared to top-down approach. So this type of thinking is changing, this type of paradigm shift is required. And relationships have to become, again, what we are talking in terms of cooperative relationship. Interpersonal relations are very important in organization. We really have to focus how to improve those interpersonal relations, because work has to be done. And for that particular reason, as leaders, I have to get the work done for only through cooperation, not by any type of what we are talking in terms of bureaucrat. Mass production in businesses have to convert to what is called as customized productions, and that is what is the future, friends. And we are looking in for how all those new techniques which are coming up in terms of artificial intelligence, when we talk in terms of robotics, I think they are all aimed towards bringing in what is called as customized production. Everybody knows the example of Dell, who basically customized the laptops, the desktops to the requirements of the consumer, and therefore became one of the fastest selling brands in the world. Compliance has to, we cannot ask anybody to comply, right? We have to always ask our employees to take initiative. Panga lena. This panga lena means what? You really have to be exertive friends, right? I cannot be sleepy in my organization. I have to be energetic, and for that particular reason, I have to encourage my employees to take initiative. वो गलत काम करते हैं तो भी कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. I think कहीं ना कहीं जब वो गलत करेंगे, then only they will learn how to do something which is correct. Conformity has to change to diversity. That is very, very important. One-way communications nowadays are changing to what is called as networking. I'm also joining out over here with you, friends, in this international conference just for the sake of networking. And I could see that Dr. Niharika Vora was there. I think that was an opportunity for me to now network with her, right? And most of your colleagues also will be in a position to network. So I think all these type of things are changing, and we really have to understand that change is what is inevitable, change is what is dynamic, and therefore change really needs to be incorporated by us when we are trying to talk in terms of businesses. Businesses have to move forward, and they can only move forward by embracing change. Now, there is a need to redesign the organizations from the past into the future, friends. Emphasis on control has to move into emphasis on coordination. I think everybody believes what united we stand, divided we are what ruled by others, right? Single performance goal is moving into multiple performance goals. Decisions which were located centrally, now we are moving towards what is called as decentralized decision making. Decisions should be taken at the level where they should be taken, and for that particular reason, we are moving towards decentralization. Simple structures in terms of unified line of command are moving into what we are talking of project organization structures, metrics organization structures, where authorities are diffused, but the responsibilities are made very clear, friends. And therefore, we are moving from what? From the pyramidical organizations into what are called as flat organizations. Organization by design is into what we are talking in terms of self-organization. So much emphasis these days is being given on emotional intelligence, and one of the pillars of emotional intelligence is how exactly we are controlled by our own self, and that is how exactly there's a need to redesign the organizations. Leadership competencies of the top managers are also under transformation, friends. The leadership needs of the organizations are to build confidence in the employees, build enthusiasm in the employees, help them to move towards cooperation. They should deliver results, not focus on efforts. मुझे लोग आके कहते हैं सर आज मैंने देखिए कितने घंटे काम किया. मैंने कहा ओके फाइन, वेरी नाइस यू हैव डन, बट व्हाट हैज बीन द आउटपुट? सर प्लीज सर डोंट आस्क मी. आउटपुट तो सर कुछ निकल नहीं पाया है, but I am trying to deliver the result. No. We have not to look towards trying. I think we really have to deliver results in this age of competition, form networks that is again very influence others, and use more and more information so that we are in a position to take better decisions. Competencies of business leaders need to be what? They need to be literate more than what their employees are. And for that particular reason, we really need to be updated with whatever is happening. And this updation is possible through newspapers, media, magazines, books, etc. We really have to be creative as business leaders. We have to think in terms of cross-cultural effectiveness, because we are moving abroad into different cultures, and for that particular reason, how to be effective in those cross-cultural management, we have to learn that art. We have to be empathetic, friends, love others. We need to be flexible in our behavior and in terms of rules, friend. Have to be proactive. We cannot be reactive. We have to be proactive. Forward thinking. Problem solving is very, very important. People will come with a lot of problems, friend. We really have to give them the solutions. And for that particular reason, we need to be problem solvers. We should believe in what? Relationship building. Then only we will be in a position to take all with us. We have to think in terms of creating teamwork, and definitely need to have our own vision. And all these things, friends, need to be the competencies for the business leaders of tomorrow. And that is how exactly the businesses need to understand the importance of what these types of dynamic or true leaders. From here, friends, I will basically like now to give an idea how these new paradigms are coming. So I basically believe that the recent trend is managing people. In managing people is through empowerment. Let us empower our people to encourage workers to use their own initiative, to make decisions on their own without asking managers first. Right? This is called as empowerment. Employees improve operations, reduce cost, and improve product quality. And that is only possible if we give them the flexibility and the freedom. Empowerment also helps to establish better relationship with the customers, because my first hand people, my first hand officers will be close to customers, understand their problem, and as a result of that, we will be in a position to understand what they require. And if that is understood by us as the business manager's friend, I think we will be in a position to deliver better results to our customers. And for that particular reason, friends, believe in empowerment. Gone are those days of what? Autocratic leadership, bureaucratic leadership. When I came over here, there was a board written out over there, Vice Chancellor Secretariat. I said, what is this nonsense? What is this secretariat concept? I am a Vice Chancellor, I am a leader, I am the head of the institution. But then I should not stop anybody. So I immediately started an initiative out over here. All my faculties, all my students have not to ask for any appointment. Anytime they want, they can just meet me, tell their problem, so that I'm in a position to understand and therefore find some solution. First of all, whenever they tell me the problem, I basically ask them, okay, fine, if this is the problem, can you suggest me some solution? And I think most of the problems are solved when they themselves are suggesting the solution, right? Students came over there to me from hostel and they said, "Sir, pani ki dikkat bahut ho rahi hai." And in summers, we are reading in the newspaper that there is going to be a lot of heat over here in Sambalpur. I said, "What do you want?" "Sir, we want water coolers." I said, "No problem. I'll provide you water coolers." "Sir, have you agreed?" When I'm saying I'm going to provide, no, sir, because people, they normally talk, but then they don't implement. But friends, I think this is very important. Whatever promises you make, they need to be delivered. This is the role of a leader, friends, and I basically believe in that. And I basically look towards that. All future business leaders, right, the students of MDI who are going to become the business leaders, need to think in terms of giving as compared to only and only keeping them in terms of their own possession, right? Next, when we talk in terms of empowerment, the idea of delegation is very important. Delegation is handing a task over to a subordinate. But if we give any type of a task, give them the authority also, yeah, so that they are in a position to perform. If we only delegate a responsibility without giving any authority, then what is the role of delegation? I think this is how exactly the business managers also need to understand that empowerment always comes with delegation, and in delegation with responsibility, authority has to be given to the people to whom we have delegated some responsibility. Now, another important approach, friends, which I personally believe is management by consensus. Take everybody together, friends. When we start our academic session over here in Sambalpur University, I immediately call the meeting of all HODs. And I basically held that particular meeting under the leadership of our chairman, PG Council. And I just want to have the first hand feel from our faculty members, the HOD of the department, what they are looking in for when we are trying to start this session. So a lot of suggestions came, sir, we should start these departments, we should have these new type of courses, this is what are the problems, try to handle these problems. I said, fine, yeah, I think you have given me lot of what? Think tank. I am basically going to work upon them. Sir, बच्चों के पास बैठने के लिए सीट नहीं है सर. हमारे रूम्स के अंदर आप आके देखिए सर, दीमक लगा हुआ है. We don't have good laboratories. Systems have become outdated. Sir, I don't know how exactly we are going to basically pull this Sambalpur University up. I said, I have understood your problem. I'm immediately going to take certain decisions. So I took the decisions to basically transform the university in terms of renovating the labs, building in, procuring more computer systems, bringing in more student desks, and also allowing them to have some type of air conditioners in their seminar halls. Those departments which were not having seminar facility, I immediately encouraged those types of HODs to basically give me the proposal to construct a seminar hall. But basically what I want to say out over here is that as leaders, you really need to consult friends, all of your subordinates, all of your, say, people. And if you will not consult, you will never be in a position to understand their problems. And if you will not basically understand, I think you will not be in a position to take certain decisions. So it is very nice for me to sit in my own chamber, keep on sipping my tea, right? But I don't do like that, friends, because I know that as a vice chancellor, I have many responsibilities. And therefore, I keep on consulting my faculty members. I don't listen to my staff. I give more importance to my faculty because I know the universities are run through what? To the faculty. And for that particular reason, I have given them free hand. Whatever they want to do it, whatever they want to have. They said, sir, we want our classrooms to be smart classrooms. I said, no problem. I'll provide you with the gadgets. And this is how exactly we are trying to use a lot of automation. And we are going in for e-office, we are going in for automation of our examination system. So this is what I just say. It is nothing but called as management by consensus. at a group decision that is acceptable to all members of the group, and that is possible when we arrive at a journal agreement. And that is how exactly. I'm not trying to be autocratic. I'm never trying to be what bureaucratic in my behavior. I always encourage all my staff people to basically meeting me, keep on meeting me, giving me some constructive suggestions. But then I always focus on what deliverables. And the deliverables are in the form of what results. If they give me results, I'm very happy. If they don't give me results, then also I'm happy because then I make them unhappy. And that is how exactly I think we really need to understand how we can manage by consensus. Next approach is we really need to understand how exactly we can manage using what is called as virtual management. COVID basically helped us to understand what is this virtual management. And this virtual management is basically management by not physically present at the work site, but then we are linked through our homes using various types of what platforms, whether these are Zoom, whether these are Google Meet. We from our homes are taking our classes. I think business people are also trying to have their managers taking decisions, sitting back at their homes. And for all this, what is very important is what is called as internet connectivity. So if we want to really practice virtual management, we have to have an independent lease line. So this also I looked in for my university, Sambalpur University. We were not having independent lease line. We were dependent on some BSNL service provider, and that lease line was given to us in some type of some CSR activity. I said, anytime the CSR activity once is withdrawn, I think Sambalpur University will be having no internet. And if that will be the situation, I think we will be cut off from the rest of the world. So immediately I took a decision to have independent lease line and started calling various vendors. We could get very good offers, and this is how exactly now we're in the process of having our own independent lease line. So what we need to understand is that virtual management is nothing but called as what? Off-site management. And as business managers, I think we really have to practice what is called as off-site management. So I think this is another paradigm which we really have to believe in called as virtual management. Then we are really understanding that how exactly we can manage our employees being mentors and coach, right? We really have to mentor them. We really have to be coached to them, right? We have not to punish them. I may basically say any harsh words, but then again, I have to console my employee because I have to get the work done from them. Alone, I cannot do anything. I have to basically take all of these people along with me. So I keep on observing them. I understand their behavior, understand their strengths and weaknesses. And on the basis of that, keep on mentoring them, keep on giving some good advices to them so that they are in a position to improve. I listen to them, friends. I basically understand their problem. Sir, आज ये दिक्कत है, आज वो दिक्कत है. अब ये दिक्कतें खत्म हो गई. Now you will work. Yes, sir, we will work. Sir, मेरे पास कंप्यूटर नहीं है, मेरे पास सर प्रिंटर नहीं है, मेरा उठा के ले जाओ आप काम करो. Show me the result. And this is how exactly, friends, if you can listen to their problems, I think we will be in a position to get the result. I keep on asking questions to them. और बताओ भी कैसा चल रहा है? Are you happy? नहीं sir, हमारी so many problems are there. No problem. Come to my room. I'll solve your problem. And friends, when as head of the institution, I'm trying to interact with them. They also feel that when Vice Chancellor is concerned about us, we should also be concerned for them. And that is how exactly by having this type of an approach of tit for tat, I think we are trying to basically move further. Then I keep on speaking to them. I keep on keeping my communication lines open. I never say, okay, fine, today I'm busy, or this time I'm busy, that time I'm busy. I always keep on understanding, keep on speaking to them so that they should not feel, maybe I'm busy also, but then I have to be multitasking, friends. I really have to believe in how exactly I can basically keep my employees happy. And if they are happy, I think by following these 4 things in terms of observation, listening to their problems, keep on asking them questions about any type of say difficulties they're trying to find, and keep my communication lines open. I'm finding by becoming mentor and coach to them, I'm in a position to get almost 100% from them. And this is what I think is the role of a leader. And this is what is a paradigm shift that we want once we become the leaders in the organization, right? Managing by what we are talking in terms of some type of a knowledge management. And in recent years, friend, I have looked in for that companies are becoming global, and they are going global either through mergers or through joint ventures or through green projects, or they are trying to cooperate with foreign companies. And when they are trying to say move into global world, I think we really need to understand the culture of every country. Hence, therefore, we need to be managers which are in a position to manage in terms of multicultural knowledge. And this multicultural knowledge I can only gather, I've already said, by reading extensively, by understanding the culture of every country, because nobody will teach me, friends, the culture of any country. If I am the leader of a business, I have to understand if my company has to go to Dubai or Middle East, what is the culture of the people out over there? If women are kept in burqa, right, and we are not allowed to talk to the woman, I think then we really need to understand that how exactly we will be in a position to provide deliverables over there in these types of countries where that type of a culture persists. As culture varies from country to country, friends, I think we really have to practice what is called as becoming global, but then acting local. So it is called as local. Is it clear? And that is how exactly, as managers, we really need to understand how exactly we can have this type of multicultural knowledge. It's not difficult, friends. But only thing is that we really have to keep ourselves updated. And for that particular reason, I have already said that if employees are working from 9 to 5, I think as leaders of business organizations, we are working right from 5 a.m. till 9 a.m., 9 p.m. in the evening, friends. And if I can work, or the leaders can work for what? 5 to 9, then only I can create work for them so that they can also work from what? 9 to 5. I think this is what exactly has to be understood. And this is what is a paradigm shift that we require to have. Then another approach that I have designed is what is called as management by wandering around. So I keep on wandering around. I think my presence only is a type of what fear for all my employees. So by walking around, visiting everyone in their offices, I try to give an impression to them that I'm concerned for them. And moment I show this concern for them, they also reciprocate, and in turn they also come forward to show certain concern for me. And this is how exactly, friends, I think businesses really need to understand how we can do managing by wandering around, right? MBWA. And I think this is another business paradigm shift that is required. Now, similarly, we really need to again manage by socializing and entertaining, right? How we address the people, either we address them by first name or we call by their family names, but definitely calling a person by name always give a personal touch, right? Wait, idara. I think that makes it very bad, friend. And for that particular reason, I think businesses are also understanding that they should have to have this type of what social contact and try to understand the first name or the surname and try to call them by give gifts to them. How we can give the gifts? I think we can think in terms of creating what is called a best employee award. We can think in terms of creating what is called a best teacher award. Teachers basically doing research, we can assign some projects, we can assign some type of grants for their what publications. So giving gifts. So gifts can be both in terms of monetary terms as well as non-monetary terms. Gifts can be in terms of appreciation letters. Gifts can be in terms of pat on their back. Gifts can be in terms of their praise. So I basically believe in what? That if you are trying to be kind to others, I think they will also be kind to you. And that is how exactly I think we really have to manage. Another thing which I normally believe is that although Corona has avoided us, otherwise we always used to exchange pleasantries by shaking hands, by kissing, hugging, bowing, as is the culture of a country. And by shaking hands, by bringing a person closer, and this is all basically creates what is called as personal touch. And this personal touch I have seen is very important. So I also believe in managing by socializing and entertaining, right? So I am also looking forward as a vice chancellor. Why not? I should organize something in terms of some cultural night, right? I can think in terms of organizing a ghazal program out over here. I can think in terms of organizing some Kavi Sammelan, right? I'm moving in that particular direction also. But the problem out over here is that I do not have some good place where I can call all the staff members of my university and collectively we can sit out over there, have this entertainment, regenerate ourselves and therefore enjoy lunch or dinner, whatever is the occasion. And this is how exactly I think we can be more informal. And this informality, I think, is going to bring all of us together. And that is what is the spirit, friend. As business manager, I think we really need to create. Businesses I've looked in for, they keep on organizing such type of programs. And that is always helping them in terms of building what? Cordial relations among all the staff members of an institution, right? Showing concern for quality, right? Now, goody things too I have done, but simultaneously I have to be quality conscious also, friends. And if as a business I'm not quality conscious, I think I will also not be in a position to deliver quality. So I should believe in continuous improvement, the term that was given by Joseph Joran or was also advocated by W. Edward Demings. And continuous improvement is called as Kaizen. And I think we believe in what? Doing better than the best. And that is always possible, friends. And quality parameters are different for different types of product. I could see there was one organization in Delhi, and that was called as Bittu Tikki Wala, right? A very small product called as Tikki. We used to go over there and we used to take Tikki when he used to sell the Tikki on ready, right? And that he was a hawker. Now, friends, whenever anybody used to go over there and they take the Tikki, always used to ask the feedback, "Kaisi bani hai sir Tikki?" And that was very appealing to us. नहीं अच्छी बनी है, नहीं बताइए सर, और इसमें मैं क्या सुधार कर सकता हूँ? Very nice यार. You are asking some suggestions from us. Very nice. Okay, fine. इसका साइज थोड़ा बड़ा कर दो, इसकी क्रिस्पनेस को बढ़ा दो, इसके अंदर पनीर के टुकड़े डाल दो, अनार के दाने डाल दो. लोगों ने जो उनके दिल में आया वो उन्होंने उसको बताया. I think he really implemented. उसने कहा सब मजा आ गया सर, आपने इतनी अच्छी अच्छी बातें मुझे बताई हैं. He started implementing everything. एंड फ्रेंड्स, उसकी वजह से क्या हुआ, जैसे ही लोग उसकी टिक्की को चम्मच से काट के मुंह में डालते हैं, दांत से दबाते हैं और जीभ से घुमाते हैं, तो जो उनको स्वाद आता है वो कहते हैं वाह मजा आ गया. और फ्रेंड्स, नाउ ही इज अ ब्रांड एंड नोबडी नोज हिम एज बिट्टू टिक्की वाला. नाउ इट इज कॉल्ड एज BTW. So what I feel is that if you really want to have advantage over your competitors, never compromise on quality. And for that particular reason, quality is not static, friends, quality is dynamic. And hence I believe in continuous improvement called as Kaizen, right? I believe in work process engineering. I think we really have to understand how exactly we can improve the processes so that our work is what completed on time. I came over here to Sambalpur University. My professors told me, sir, we are getting so good projects from the big organization, 27 crores, 14 crores, 5 crores, 2 crores. But the biggest hurdle is the accounts. Sir, हमारे जूते घिस जाते हैं अकाउंट से हमें परमिशन लेने के लिए. मैंने कहा नॉनसेंस. Who are these account people to basically come in the way? When you are getting the money, it is your money. University is only a custodian to disperse the money. No सर, फाइल ही नहीं मूव होती है, वो पहले एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव अप्रूवल होता है, फिर उसके बाद पता नहीं क्या क्या होता है, फाइनेंशियल कंकरेंस होता है, ये होता है और वो होता है, सर पता ही नहीं सर, वो फाइल ही गायब हो जाती है. मैंने कहा नॉनसेंस. मैंने कहा हाउ वी कैन डू इट? Therefore, we devise a process. I cut down all the procedures. I said principal investigator will send the file to the VC. VC will accord administrative approval, go to the accounts, again come back to me, sanctioned, money is sent directly to the account of the professor. Now professors are very happy. सर जो टाइम हमें 6 महीने लगते थे पैसे मिलने में, सर आज 10 दिन के अंदर हमारे अकाउंट में पैसे आ जाते हैं. I said I think we basically have to think in terms of work processes, engineered. We really have to engineer the work processes so that things are made easy rather than complicated, right? So I think this is an attitude. We really have to change our attitude and think in terms of how the processes can be engineered so that we are in a position to deliver results in no time. Because now time is very important, friend. And if we can do the things on time, I think that is what is required in order to remain competitive. Similarly, I think I basically believe in what? That we really need to set certain type of goals which are basically agreed by all. And I believe in this policy of management by objectives, a term that was coined by Drucker. He says supervisor employees agree on the goal. Rather, they themselves set their own goals. मैं भी अपने employees को ये कहता हूँ, बताओ क्या काम करोगे? सर मैं ये करूंगा, मैं ये करूंगा, ये नहीं करूंगा. ओके फाइन, ये तुम्हारे से मैं ले लेता हूँ. और बताइए, नहीं सर अब मैं प्लानिंग का बड़ा अच्छा काम करूँ. So when I came over here, I could see my assistant engineer doing all types of routine job. बस की हैंडलिंग कर रहा है, उसमें डीजल देख रहा है, उसकी सर्विसिंग करा रहा है. मैं कहा नॉनसेंस यार, you are a qualified engineer to the rank of what is called as an assistant engineer and you are doing this useless job. सर यहाँ कोई मेरे को चेंज ही नहीं करता है. मैंने कहा I will do the change. Now I have put him over there to planning and now he is doing a wonderful job for us. And I put the junior engineer over there for the developmental work. So I think this is how exactly we really have to bring about some change in the organization as a business. Reliable management information system has to be created, friends, in order to monitor the progress. Until the time you try to keep a check, I think you will not be in a position to see whether really people are working or not. More collaborative effort is required between the management and the labor so that they should also feel at home, right? If I am the management and I have certain workers, they should not have a feeling that I am the boss. They should have a feeling that I am basically like a fatherly figure. And if they will believe me as a father, I think they will definitely be there to help me rather than betraying me. And that is how exactly, friends, we have to understand their problems, talk to them, and therefore come over there to help them in terms of completely solving all types of problems so that if their problems are solved, they give 100% to us. And this is what, as a business, I think, we are moving toward. All these paradigm shifts are required. Now we have to embrace innovation, friends. As a business, we really have to be innovative, friends. In organizational context, innovation will be linked to performance and growth. And if through innovation we can improve the performance and growth, I think this is what is required. So this will help in improvement in efficiency, improvement in productivity, improvement in quality, improvement in competitive positioning, improvement in market share. I think all types of improvements you can see across the board, provided you are innovative. And I think everybody has got the brain, friends. I've looked in for, and people, some people, they apply their mind, they are involved in innovation. Some people are not involved in innovation. I think now the future is innovation. For that particular reason, we need to innovate, right? And innovation helps because it is critical to success. Product life cycle is shortening, and for that particular reason, new products have to be innovated. New products have to be introduced in order to be competitive. Design push approach has to be there rather than market pull, right? We really have to create innovations in terms of design and improvement in the processes so that we are in a position to do the same job in a limited time, and that too in a volume. And that is how exactly we'll be competitive. I think this is very important code. Every aspect and part of our workplace can be made more innovative as you develop, expand, and enrich its creativeness. I think we have to encourage creativeness in the organization. And I give it a name called as Panga Lena. I keep on asking my employees in the university also, और बताओ भाई नए नए suggestions दो मुझे और हम क्या change कर सकते हैं. तो they keep on giving me, सर CSR में हम ये कर सकते हैं, सर यहाँ जाने से हमारा ये हो जाएगा. मैंने कहा मुझे जहाँ लेके जाने चलो, मैं चलने को तैयार हूँ. But basically we should get the results. I will not go anywhere where results are not there. So that is how exactly we are moving. Everyone will generate more ideas and solutions. Choose to be innovative, friends. This is what is my message for all businesses, that we really have to be innovative. And innovation has to be in terms of context. Innovation has to be in terms of leadership. Innovation has to be with respect to people. Innovation has to be with respect to basic values that we are trying to have. Innovation has to be in terms of various innovative ideas, right? So this engine of innovation can help the organization in a variety of ways, which we really has to change in our day-to-day practice. Now, innovation helps in improving quality, creation of new markets as a business. It helps in extension of the product range. It helps in reducing the labor cost. It helps in improving the production processes. It helps in reducing the materials that we are using. It helps in reducing environmental damage. It helps in replacement of the products and services. It helps in reducing energy consumption, and it also helps in conformation to the regulations. And when all these good goals are there, I think there is always and always that we should always involve ourselves in innovation. So innovation means doing things differently. And it happens whether the organizations are big or small, and people always are excited to be involved in innovations because they are always looking towards creating better products and services and to create a material difference in the world to which they belong. And for that particular reason, I think it is an open challenge for all of us. And we should believe in what? Breakthrough innovations, right? So my advice is not only innovations, but you should come out with breakthrough innovations, which are called as end user innovation. These end user innovations are nothing but called as what? When we start thinking out of the box. If we start thinking outside the box, right? I should open my window and see longer as compared to just sitting in my own room and just seeing the walls. I think that is a limited world I can see. But the moment I open the window, see outside, I can see a more bigger world, and that is what I think is required in order to do something called as breakthrough innovations. Start thinking outside the box. Businesses who have really excelled in their own self are those friends who have started thinking outside the box, and that is very important, friend. And that is going to be the next growth cycle, which is going to help the businesses to deliver high business values in this age of competition, friend. Because we are not only competing with Indian firms, we are competing with multinational firms, friend. And when we are competing, I think we really have to not copy them, but we really have to think something different. So we have to be smarter as compared to, if they are managers, we have to be smarter managers, right? That is how exactly we can think out of the box. Now, I think red ocean strategy has to be changed to what is called as blue ocean strategy. Don't involve yourself in bloodbath, friends, right? Always find some different niches for you. Find out your own path. So conventional innovation has to be thought in terms of value innovation. Then only you will be in a position to move from red ocean strategy to blue ocean strategy. Set the prices based on the value to the customer. कस्टमर किसी भी चीज को अपने हाथ में सामान लेने के बाद देखता है, यार क्या चीज मुझे मिल रही है और इसके बदले में मैं क्या दे रहा हूँ, ढेरों पैसे इसने ले लिए हैं और क्या दिया है मुझे उसने. And that is what is very important, friends. I think we as businessmen also have to start thinking on those lines. And that is what is a policy, friends. I have looked in for out over here also. Whenever in vendor approaches me, मैं इनको कहता हूँ यार अपना एक प्रोडक्ट तो ले आओ, दिखाओ तो सही मुझे क्या बनाया है आपने. Then only I'll be in a position to basically understand that you are a quality person and that too at a competitive prices. So friends, nowadays the time is what? When we cannot think in terms of prices, we can only think in terms of margins, and these margins can only work and come when we think of volumes, right? So we have to think in terms of what? Creating volumes for us, and those volumes will help to generate revenue for what? For my university, I have to think in terms of generating revenue and how I can do it by ensuring that all the seats which I have in different courses, I should be in a position to fill those seats, right? And also try to have certain such type of courses which at least are not there with any other universities, so that at least we can also have our own niche on which we are in a position to basically boost on, right? So this is how exactly. Now, another very important paradigm shift is that we really have to create an entrepreneurship mindset in organizations, friend, right? And this entrepreneurship mindset is because the economy is becoming entrepreneurship. Every second person needs to be entrepreneur. Time has gone, friends, when government can think of creating job, right? Every business manager needs to become entrepreneur. Evolution of knowledge has been there. High tech, high tech devices are there, and I think there is a need to have what are called as entrepreneurial startups. And I think universities, businesses are moving towards what in this particular direction of what creating more and more entrepreneurial startups, right? Demographic trends are also moving this particular direction. Nobody wants to work under somebody. Everybody wants to have their own freedom. And for that particular reason, there is a need to create this entrepreneurial mindset in the organization. This venture capital market is growing very big, friends. And when lot of funding opportunities are there, I think it makes sense to create what is called as entrepreneurial mindset in the organization. I also have to create entrepreneurial environment. I have to make my employees to think like they are the entrepreneurs in the organization itself. And that is how exactly. For that, I need to identify potential entrepreneurs. I have, as a top management, sponsored their entrepreneurial projects, and I therefore have to promote entrepreneurship through experimentation. We are trying to do it over here in our university, and I hope that all businesses are also moving in this particular direction. As I think businesses, we really have to have respect for core values of management, which are in the form of honesty and integrity, mutual respect, pursuit for excellence, and we have to think in terms of personal accountability. These are all types of paradigm shifts which are required. We really have to design control systems for the turbulent times, which are in the form of COVID or any other type of pandemics. And for that particular reason, let us try to create what is called as open book management, right? All my financial information should be made available to all people, right? What type of secrecy is there? I keep on asking my finance people, what is the income of the university? Yes, sir, we will tell you. But I think 2 months, 3 months have already passed. I have never seen the cash book where I could see independently what has been the income of the university so that I can plan for. So I think we really have to move towards what is called as open book management so that all financial information, I have to think in terms of creating a balanced scorecard where the performance only has not to be seen from the financial perspective. The performance has to be measured from the customer's perspective, my student's perspective. So performance has to be seen with respect to internal business processes. Performance has to be seen with respect to learning and growth that has taken place in the business organization, right? So this is how exactly balanced scorecard approach that was given by Norton. I think that is also to be implemented, and most of the businesses are doing it. Now, workforce diversity is also very important. We have to think in terms of inclusive workforce, and this is how exactly we will be in a position to create heterogeneity of the workforce. And if we have heterogeneity of the workforce, I think we'll be moving towards what we are talking in terms of what is called as the future. And because inclusiveness is the future, friends, creating a climate where diversity is valued, friends. And I think most of these, things are already being implemented these ways by the businesses. All inclusive environment provides equitable opportunities for all. And that is what is desired. This type of business paradigm shift is required, friend. Similarly, we have to think in terms of converting our businesses as e-businesses. right? So we can be e-business enhanced organization, we can be e-business enabled organization. We have to think in terms of becoming a total e-business organization so that these e-business or automation can add to what transparency and accountability. And therefore, we will be loved in the society, we will be loved in the country, in the world, right? So I think these are the next level of improvement that is required on the part of the businesses. As businesses, we have to be responsible towards the society in terms of social responsibility, social obligation, social responsiveness. Similarly, we have to think in terms of how exactly we can imbibe ethics when we talk in terms of business. We have to have our own codes of ethics if we really want to get respect from the society, get respect from our employees and other stakeholders. We really have to have code of ethics for all of them, right? We have to be very careful about the time management. That is another paradigm shift. I was talking to a Japanese, he said, the only training that is required to be given to Indian is the punctuality, is the value for time. And the only problem with Indians, they're very hardworking, but they don't have importance of time. I think we really have to improve ourselves with respect to time management. Stresses are there. We have to practice a lot of yoga. We have to think in terms of reducing these stresses at the workplace by having more and more of spiritual things over there in the organization. And this is again, I think businesses are always moving in this particular direction by having these types of spiritual classes before they ask the employees to go back for work, friends, right? So stress management has to be there so that we are in a position to get 100% for our employees. I think we need to formulate alliances and partnership with related organizations to go further. We have to have a policy of listen, listen, listen as compared to talk, talk, talk approach, right? And we are always involved in talking. मेरी बात सुन लो, सुना लो, मैं आपकी बात बाद में सुनूंगा, पहले पूरी करूंगा. I think this is something which needs to be. Employees should adopt different roles at different time. Multitasking is the future, friend. From me first attitude, you have to change to customer first attitude. Listen to your customer. From pass the buck, try to believe in what the buck stops here attitude, right? So I think these all things are required as a part of the paradigm shift. Change is permanent part of life, friends. We really have to bring about change in our own self. And for this change management, the great thing is not so much where we stand, as in rather it is seeing in what directions are we moving. So always move in a positive direction. And for that particular reason, I think planning is very, very important, friends. Planning the future, I think, is very important. Giving up does not mean you are weak. Sometimes it means you are strong enough to let it go, right? So believe in consolidation. And if you are expanding, there may be time which is required for consolidation. I think we really have to move towards that. Begin with the end in mind, friends. That is very important. If you can think you can, friend. If you think you cannot, you cannot. I think we really need to bring about this change in the attitude. And if this attitude change can happen in the businesses, friend, I think impossible will become what I am possible. And for that particular reason, a new workplace needs to be advocated where the mindset of control and command has to change towards what? A mind of coaching and providing guidance so that our organizations can become fast, flexible, innovative, and relationship oriented. This is what is going to be the future, friends. If we are only and only having a command and control mind, I think we'll be left behind by whom? By our competitors. Take a different view of the world. Be curious, learn, and free yourself of conventional rules, friend, right? What was the past is past, and now live in present and prepare for future. That is what is the guiding force, right? Create learning organizations. Keep on learning, friends, right? Learning never ends. Even if I'm a professor after 40 years, I keep on learning because the learning helps to grow our capacity to further grow. And that is very important, friends, right? It is not the strongest of the species that survives, not the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change, friends, right? So change is inevitable. And it has been said by Charles Darwin also, survival of the fittest, friend. If I have to remain fit in the world, I think I have to be updated. And for that particular reason, I need to respond to change, friend. If automation is future, I have to basically adapt. I have to basically imbibe automation in my organization. I have to focus towards excellence. For that, friends, I have to have a bias for action, close to customer, autonomy and entrepreneurship, productivity through people, hands-on value driven, stick to the knitting, simple form, lean staff, simultaneous loose tight properties. These are the 8 basics or 8 biases. If you are having these biases in your mind, I think you will work towards excellence, right? So these are certain words which you have to avoid, friends. Avoid I, right? And most satisfying we. So it's a team. Most poisonous is ego, kill it. Most acceptable is love, value it. Most pleasing is smile, keep it. Always have smile. Then only you will be called as what? Charles Dickens, friends, right? Keep smile on your face. मुझे बहुत लोग कहते हैं सर most difficult thing in this world is to have smile on the face. No, no, no. Smile is what? Satisfaction, miles and miles. छोटी सी हंसी आपके चेहरे के ऊपर बहुत ज्यादा I think आपको खुशी देती है. Let us march towards what is nothing but called as an excellence, friend. And with these few words, let us try to part. Progress is possible. No one can stop it. But obstacle is there. We have to face it. And if we can face these obstacles, friends, I think nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. Nothing can stop us. I think we will definitely, as a business, rule and therefore always excel and come forward, right? So thank you all, friends. And I think 5-7 minutes, I have exceeded the time limit that was given to me. And now the house is open for questions. And yeah.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Sanjeev Mittal, for gracing the occasion and your presence and your insightful deliberation.
Thank
we
you.
firmly believe that all of us are immensely benefited from your comprehensive deliberation. I extend my heartfelt thanks to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We have a few questions from one of our participants named Mr. Ajay Kumar Yadav for an esteemed keynote speaker. He requested for further deliberation on the term MBWA.
Very simple. What you have to do is that it is management by wandering around. Let's say, for example, I'm a vice chancellor, right? My office starts at 10 a.m. First of all, I have to ensure that I am there on time, right? Moment I am there on time, I can sit on my chair. Instead of sitting on my chair, I start moving over there in the corridor. So it is management by wandering around. I go over there, I sit across my registrar, I ask him, how was your day, last day? And he immediately feels very much delighted. Sir, why you have come over here? Why you have not called me? No, I was having this feeling to have a cup of tea with you. And therefore that creates an excitement in him. Sometimes I go over there to my office and I say, I just want to have a cup of tea. Sir, क्या मजाक कर रहे हैं sir आप? You should have called me, sir. मैंने कहा नहीं यार ऐसी बात नहीं है. I could have called you, but I thought कि let me share some of your feelings, what you are having towards the university. मैं बस ये जानना चाह रहा था. वैसे आप भी बिजी रहते हैं, मैं भी बिजी रहता हूँ भाई. और हमें क्या करना चाहिए सुधार. और जैसे ही आई आस्क देम क्या सुधार करना चाहिए तो आई थिंक दे फील वेरी हैप्पी. सर बहुत कुछ है सर, बहुत कुछ है, बड़ा अच्छा लगा सर. यू आर द फर्स्ट वाइस चांसलर हु कम्स ओवर देयर, सिट विद मी. तो अगर हम अपने स्टाफ के साथ, अगर हम अपने कुलीग्स के साथ अगर ये एक इनफॉर्मल एटीट्यूड अगर हम अडॉप्ट कर लेंगे तो आई थिंक वी विल बी इन अ पोजीशन टू गेट 100% ऑफ देम फॉर द इंस्टीट्यूशन which we are trying to get, right? So that is what is called as management by wandering around. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. It's a very interesting concept altogether. I'm pretty much sure that must have answered the query of Mr. Ajay Kumar. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Chetan GK, conference co-chair and chairperson continuing education, online courses, online MDPs, webinars, and other online activities, Associate Professor Finance, to deliver a vote of thanks.
Yes, thank you, Professor Yukti. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen present at this August gathering. So it is my honor and privilege to get the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this special occasion. I thank all the participants such as research scholars, industry practitioners, professors of various business schools who have contributed their papers for this prestigious conference, ICCBP 2021. From across the world. I thank our Director, Sir, Professor Dr. Atmanand, for gracing the occasion with his inaugural address. On behalf of MDI Murshidabad, I convey my regards and hearty thanks to our Chief Guest, Professor Dr. Niharika Vohra, Vice Chancellor, Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University, New Delhi, for being present at our online ICCBP 2021 and addressing the gathering. I would like to thank Professor Sanjeev Mittal, Vice Chancellor, Sambalpur University, for gracing our ICCBP 2021 with this great talk. I also thank Professor Yanki Hartijasti, Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Indonesia, for being present for this inaugural program. I thank all the faculty members, Registrar Sir, non-teaching staff of MDI Murshidabad for being present for this inaugural session, and without whose support this conference has never turned out to be reality. I also thank all the student coordinators who really put their hard efforts to make this conference a grand success. And I also thank all the students of MDI Murshidabad for being present for this inaugural session. We, the conference organizing committee members, Dr. Biranchi Narayanswar, Dr. Niharika Gan, Dr. Neeraj Singhal, Dr. Yukti Sharma, and I thank from our bottom of our hearts to our director, sir, Professor Dr. Atmanand, for being encouraging and motivating us in conducting ICCBP 2021. Thank you, one and all. Over to Professor.
Thank you, Dr. Chetan, for elaborative vote of thanks.
So I can leave for today. I have a lot of assignments.
Sure.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
With me. Thank you.
Thanks for coming to this conference, sir. Sir, we are fortunate enough to have you today morning. So you may leave, sir. No worry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Finally, I would like to wish all the participants a delightful and intellectually stimulating 3 days of ICCBP. I'll request all the participants to join their respective tracks, as our first track session is scheduled at 11:15. Thank you so much.